so we're back talking some more Season 3 of Chucky on the channel, Episode 6. I have to imagine a lot of you are still probably reeling from the conclusion last week with the death of President Collins, but more so the chaos that comes from the aftermath. Chucky having those codes is just the tip of the iceberg. This entire episode is pure insanity, especially the conclusion. It's pretty fascinating that Tiffany's pep talk reinvigorated Chucky to some degree. I mean, he still looks absolutely terrible and he is decaying before our very eyes. You do see that he's gained a new sense of purpose, the fact that he wants to go out swinging, telling Henry about leaving your mark while you're here so people will remember you once you're dead. That little speech alone instills a lot of fear. You factor in the danger level with Chucky here because he has the nuclear launch codes. By now with this series, it's kind of par for the course as far as mourning characters that Devon Sawa plays being killed by Chucky. This instance, though, does have an unexpected supernatural edge to it. When they find the body, writing starts appearing on the wall telling them that Chucky did it. It's a pretty cool detail, but it's also kind of amusing because based on their reactions and us as an audience know, nobody in this place knows that Chucky is Chucky. He's going by Joseph. If the ghost had just written Joseph, this mystery would have been wrapped up a whole lot faster. That's even before Chucky slips up and Henry asks who Chucky is. I truly do feel awful for the Collins family by and large. It's clearly visible just how defeated they are, especially because Price won't let Mrs. Collins take the kids and leave. I probably would have been doing that immediately. That's even before Henry has the bright idea to roll out Chucky to the dinner table looking the way that he does. Now, this could definitely just be a me thing, but I'm starting to feel like as the episodes progress that Price is more so the true villain of Season 3. I'm starting to feel frustrated at just the influence that Price has on everything around him within the White House, becoming more and more unhinged with power as things get worse in here. Because of the president's death, it does leave this big foreboding question on what exactly you do as a nation. After all the tragedies we've already seen up to this point involving the White House, do you double down on that and tell the media that the president also is dead? Or do you find some way to cover this up in some shape or form, even though that would be extremely difficult? More often than not, I'm usually down with the level of absurdity that this show brings, but even the solution here was a little bit much for me, although I did think it was kind of funny. Price goes and tells everyone that they hired a double to play the president for the time being, and guess who the double is for the president? It's just Devon Sawa again. I wasn't sure if they were going to just go down the route and just have Devon Sawa play another version of himself. Now instead of twin brothers, he's a president and the body double of the president. That right there was the final piece that was laid in place for the real chaos to begin in episode 6. Jake and Devon return back from their fun adventure, obviously very happy because they finally did the deed, but then Lexi tells them that they're actually going to go back to the White House and hang out with Grant, which that made me really nervous. I was about as nervous as Jake was to go back into the White House after everything that happened the last time they were there, especially when you have Chucky watching them from the window above, excited that they're coming back. This entire section of the episode is great in how it plays into the ominous, tense atmosphere at hand, the dark, stormy night, coupled with a surprise musical sequence of Don't Fear the Reaper between Grant and Lexi. I definitely was not expecting a piano duet. Personally, I thought it was kind of cheesy. Sure, it's still a sweet sequence in a way because it is building on that relationship between Lexi and Grant, but it's still undeniably cheesy. You can't listen to this and think it isn't. I was so glad it didn't take long for them to just come clean to Grant about the truth about Chucky and why they used him before, taking in all this info much better than I anticipated him to. In a way, I do feel like this is him kind of joining the trio, making it a core four in a sense. It's a really messed up club to be initiated in. I mean, all of the people that are in this club have had their parents killed by Chucky. Whenever they cut back to Chucky and him trying to do this plan while being deathly ill and making Henry carry him everywhere, it was extremely hilarious. You gotta hand it to Chucky though. Pulling a gun on imposter Devon Sawa and holding him hostage to take him down to the nukes. Regardless of the fact that dropping nukes is his end goal, it doesn't mean he's still not going to kill some people along the way in brutal, gory fashion. Continuing to kill more and more Secret Service members this season. Shooting a guy in the elevator and stabbing that guy with a pen through his eyeball. That was the more nasty of the two because he explains everything about the brain before jamming it in. It's the usual mixing and matching with Chucky kills. You have the nasty kill, which was that one, and then the funnier one was when he shoots the guy in the elevator. Since Chucky monologues about how he actually isn't too fond of guns, the irony around using one given that he's been shot to death quite a few times now. Still up to this point, we are kind of in the intermediate stages as far as ramping up the supernatural angle of things inside of the White House. We're still teasing a whole lot of it. We tease bringing in a medium, which we won't see until the next episode. But here we get our ghost fix in the form of President Collins appearing in front of his wife, giving us a horrific but random jump scare. Like, genuinely, why did he do that? By now, it's just a race to try try and stop Chucky from launching nukes, a race that the trio and Grant are losing. Another fascinating detail I didn't look into last week when Chucky brutally murdered the president and gouging out his eyes. I didn't think he was doing it to be resourceful. I just thought he was doing it to be an asshole. I guess I have to assume that Chucky knew going into his plan with the nuclear launch codes he was going to need retina identification at some point, which I'm pretty sure that doesn't actually work in real life, but at the same time it is a voodoo killer doll doing all of this, so I'm not expecting 100% logic here. Once we get into this section and realize what Chucky's plans are with the nuclear bombs, they're more insane than I could have ever imagined. He wants to bomb Pyongyang, Russia, and arguably the most random of the three is he wants to bomb the North Pole, all because he wants to break the hearts of all the children around the world that Santa gets blown up by a nuke. That has to be a new low for Chucky, that he would bomb the North Pole just so kids around the world would have their hearts broken that Santa potentially would have been nuked. In a way, though, it does kind of play back into the movie within a movie in Seed of Chucky, where Tiffany and Chucky were killing Santa Claus. This entire standoff in this room had me on edge the entire time. My nerves were shot, helped by the fact that the trio do not agree on the plan put in place. Lexi almost seems like she's okay with letting Chucky do this, as long as Chucky stays alive so they can find Caroline. Actively tries to stop Jake from taking out Chucky as he's trying to launch nukes across the world. Like, I understand getting Caroline back is a massive deal, but if Chucky nukes the entire world, there's gonna be a whole lot of other big issues at hand. By this point, though, my nerves were shot. It's just pure chaos in this room. You maybe at first think it's over because Chucky gets shot, collapses right before he's able to launch the nukes. What might possibly be the most insane thing I have ever witnessed in the entire Child's Play Chucky franchise. With his final burst of energy, Chucky sits up, yells "fuck Santa," and launches a nuke at the freaking North Pole before he turns into dust and dies. I tried warning you guys ahead of time that the finale for episode 6 is one of the most batshit insane things I've ever watched, so I hope now that you've seen it, you understand what I was trying to warn you about. Still, nevertheless, this is a horrifying conclusion all around. Henry's now well aware that that guy in there is not his father. True horror kicks in that they have no idea how they're going to ever find Caroline. Now that Chucky is dead, we do conclude on a shot of Brad Dourif as the spirit of Charles Lee Ray, which is just the beginning as far as the supernatural hijinks are concerned that we're going to see in episode 7 and episode 8. But yeah, episode 6, like I told you guys before, one of the craziest episodes. Personally, out of the 4 episodes in part 2, this was probably my second favorite of the bunch. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you share your thoughts down below once you get a chance to check out the episode. What did you think of episode 6? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? How did you feel about all the things in the story revolving around the new Tevin Sawa character, Chucky's nuking of the North Pole, but also his death? I'd love to hear your predictions down below where you think we're going to go with the story next week. Thank you guys, as always, though, for checking out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.